Hey guys, NitroBuilderGTR here. So, it's now been just over a year since GTR server was originally released, which is just crazy to think of. It's just insane. So GTR server has now been out for just over a year. On the 16th of December 2021, I released GTR server to the public, and it's been doing reasonably well since I released it. And I sort of just made this video as a sort of like a log, or sort of like a report of what I've managed to do this year. So this is the sort of work that I've managed to do this year. This is all the progress that I've done this year, and I hope you enjoy the Minecraft gameplay in the background, and yeah, enjoy the video. So, this is sort of what's been happening over the past year for development of GTR server, what I've learnt from just using Unreal Engine in general, and how far I've come as a developer. Now, you may remember that I made a documentary earlier this year. That took up a few months, but that was mainly because I wasn't motivated to code and I was interested in video editing at the time. So, well, I still am interested in video editing, which is why I'm making this video as well, and also so I can gain experience of just video editing in its entirety. So around January this year, I was working on my documentary, right? I was planning it, I think. So in January I was planning it, or I thought, hey, it would be cool to do a documentary. So I sort of I thought about it, never really followed through with it, and then about 1 or 2 months later, I thought, actually, I'm really bored. There's nothing else to do. Why not make a documentary? Because I'm bored. So I made the documentary, and yeah, I ended up gaining a lot of video editing experience, which was very useful for me in many ways, and I sort of learned the basics of video editing. Like, I already knew the basics, but this sort of just boosted my knowledge just that little bit more. And yeah, it was useful. But apart from that, once I finished that documentary, I basically stopped any sort of proper working, like proper game development. I say proper because I was only really like going and doing computer science instead. So I was sort of focusing more on like sort of studying for like my GCSEs. I wasn't really putting that much work into my game at the time. I was just sort of focusing on my GCSEs. But now that I'm sort of more focused and I sort of have a little more time for game development, next year I'm planning on sort of going and doing a little more game development than I did this year. So there might be less content because or less YouTube content in general, because I'll be doing game development. And talking about that as well, the future of this channel, genuinely, I have no idea what's going on with it. I think that oh, my phone alarm's going off. Hang on, let me go turn that off. So now that I'm doing game development much more often now, I'm planning on sort of moving my focus towards that. I'm thinking of using one of my second channels. So I have a second channel. I've just never told anyone about it. I've not posted to it ever. But I'm thinking of utilizing that as the sort of GTR server only. So that's where I'd be posting all of my game development stuff. So any game development things that I sort of make, I'd probably post to that YouTube channel. I'm not too sure if I should though. If anyone thinks that's a good idea, please tell me. I have no idea. But if that was the case, this channel would only really be for like just like, well, this would still be my main channel, but that one would be where I post all like my trailers and things. So instead of like having all my GTR server trailers and things like that, I would post them to that secondary channel. So it wouldn't sort of, because this channel is sort of clogged up with like loads of different genres of content. I've got Fortnite content. I've got like some random ass like music production thing I did a while back. I literally did that in like an hour because I was bored and just decided to upload it. I have no idea why. Yeah. And then I have I have another style of content. I have vlogs. Talking about vlogs, expect one next year in January. I am going to be posting one. Keep a lookout. And if I don't post one in January, shit. Anyway, over the past year, so 2022, so just overall, 2022 has been a really eventful year for me. I've learned a lot this year. I've gained many new skills. I think most of this is because I've been home educated now for just over a year, and I think this year it's sort of been like the main year where I've sort of been able to just sort of focus on what I've wanted to do, which was really useful. So over 2022, the skills I've learned. The major skills that I've learned is how to use Unreal Engine 4 properly. So I've sort of learned how to utilize Unreal Engine, not all of it, but I've learned how to utilize most of it. And I think that is a major skill, especially for someone who wants to be a game developer in the future. And especially at such a young age as well. 13 to 14 to learn game development. That the reason why I'm starting so early with my development process is so I already have a few years of experience, so I can put it on my CV and it'll boost me up in recommendations, because it means that, for example, if an employer looks at my CV and they say, how long have you been like doing game development for, I can already say I've been doing it for nearly 5 years by the time I'm looking for a job, which is absolutely ludicrous. And that'll be really useful because some people don't really have that much experience, and if they do, it's not even anywhere close to 6 years or 5 years, something like that. So that would be really useful for me to put on my CV. So that's one of the major reasons why I'm planning on sort of doing game development for so long in my sort of mid-teens, because it'll just boost my knowledge as well. And not only can Unreal Engine be used for game development, it can be used for animation and things like that as well, which is really useful. So I also have different options. So if I don't want to be a game developer, for example, I could be a map creator for a game instead. Now, some would class that as a some people would probably class that as a as being a game developer, but to be honest, it's more of a design perspective. It's not really a game development job. It's more of a, it sort of depends what you're designing if you're making objects that sort of link in to the game's function, I sort of see where that would be a game developer's sort of job. But if it's things like map creation, so like if you're doing like terrain and things like that, that is map creation. So that isn't really, well, in my books, that isn't really game development. That's sort of just that's sort of like an art design sort of job. But to be honest, some game developers can just do that themselves, depending on how detailed the map is, obviously. But some major sort of game studios, for example, I'm pretty sure people like Blizzard have a team of map creators just for the maps and like details of like the ground and things, because games like Call of Duty require a lot of detail. It's like the major selling point for that game, so you would think that there is a huge team behind the design, and there probably is. So anyway, I'm definitely sidetracking here, but apart from that, basically the point that I was getting at was that it's not just game development that I have a route to if I'm learning Unreal Engine. It's not just game development. It can be design, it could be animation, but well, animation's not really something I'm good at. But game development is my strongest use of Unreal Engine. Anyway, moving on. I'm now getting to the stage where I'm not really needing tutorials anymore, like YouTube tutorials. So I'm not really needing YouTube tutorials anymore for sort of anything to do with Unreal Engine. I'm starting to not need to use YouTube tutorials for Unreal Engine, and personally, I genuinely think that's a huge step. If there's something I'm really struggling with, yeah, I'll probably use a YouTube tutorial, but I've not needed to use one for so long now. I think the last time I properly used a YouTube tutorial for Unreal Engine was probably around March, which is ludicrous. So just the amount of pure skill I've gained in the past year, I have seen improvement, which is incredible. And I'm planning on moving over to Unreal Engine 5 next year, so 2023. I'm planning on learning Unreal Engine 5 and getting used to like the UI and stuff. That was the major turn off for me. Now, I know for a lot of people that would just sound crazy, but because I've sort of tuned myself to get used to Unreal Engine 4.25's or 4.26's sort of visual appearance, and like where all the menus are and things like that, I've sort of adapted myself to that, so it'll take a little bit of time to sort of transfer that knowledge over to Unreal Engine 5, but because they're both essentially the same core, like they've both got the same sort of block, they've got the same sort of building blocks behind it. The only difference is Unreal Engine 5 has a little more features added on top. That's literally the only difference. So, that and the UI. So, yeah, that'll take a little bit of time to getting used to, but that shouldn't take too long, and shouldn't be too difficult, I think. Yeah, but I'm planning on moving over to Unreal Engine 5.1, not 5.1. This is because of the amazing graphics, and as some of you may have seen recently, Fortnite has recently it recently changed over to Unreal Engine 5.1. Now, if none of you know what that means, basically it's just the newest version of Unreal Engine 5, and one of the major reasons why I'm talking about Fortnite is because not only are they using the newest version of Unreal Engine, they are utilizing the new graphics. Now, the new graphics engine is absolutely beautiful. Like, the graphics look absolutely amazing. And this is because of its new lighting architecture, or new lighting system, called Nanite and Lumen. I think that's what it's called anyway. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. But basically, the breakdown of it is that they are a new sort of rendering style. So it's a new level of photorealism that no other engine has ever gone near before. And by the way, I'm not paid to say any of this, but it's a really, really incredible technology that they're finally utilizing, and that's why I want to try and learn to use it, or sort of try to learn to utilize it in a way. However, the performance does absolutely tank your machine, depending on what one you have. I've got a absolute beast, so mine somehow managed to get around 70 FPS on Fortnite with like everything on epic or high, with Lumen and Nanite enabled, which is incredible. But it's basically, I just overclocked my GPU and managed to get average FPS. And I'm not even kidding, it did look amazing. Like, the new lighting system is just incredible. It's incredible. That's probably the only way I can describe it. You'll have to see footage for yourself. There's hundreds of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, well, there probably is, but there's thousands of videos online. There are thousands of videos online of people showcasing Fortnite and its new sort of graphics, which is incredible. Anyway, so there's a new skill that I've learned as well, which is video editing. Now, video editing is something that I've always wanted to try and learn properly, and I think now is when I've only just started to sort of catch on. Not entirely, but sort of partially. I'm getting there. But it's something that I think I'm starting to get the hang of. I've actually edited a video for my brother already, so my brother is finally starting to think of starting a YouTube channel. And he recorded a video, and I edited it for him. And through me editing it for him, I learned a lot about sort of how to make a video funny. My brother was laughing his head off. I have got no clue why, but yeah, I just managed to make the memes fit really well, and yeah, I'm thinking of releasing it, like finally giving him the file for it, but I just haven't got around to doing it yet, and he hasn't asked for it, so I'll wait until he asks for it, and then I'll probably give the video file and he can upload it. But anyway, moving on. There's hopefully going to be a new vlog on my YouTube channel pretty soon. I say pretty soon, it'll probably be like sometime next year. Well, it'll definitely be sometime next year, but I don't know when. I'm planning on getting it out in January, maybe start of February. It depends how bad the weather is, because, England. Yeah. But yeah, also, I just wanted to say, before the video ends, thank you for all your support, especially on TikTok as well. I don't know why everyone's gone over to my TikTok. I think it's because I'm posting a little more on there. I'm sort of posting updates about GTR server and stuff on there. Yeah, anyway, this was sort of my year in review, and the progress that I've made over the past 12 months, and holy shit did it go fast. Yeah, well, I'm gonna go listen to Central C's new song, and talk soon. Merry Christmas, boys and girls. Let's be honest, there aren't any here. Yeah, bye everyone. Merry Christmas, and thanks for all the support this year. Hopefully next year will be even better.
That bees, they curved the kid back then when I was so lit. Now I'm lit, they're pissed. Told bro, now you gotta take it slow. But he knows crime pace, so he won't go lit. Went 3 for 3, now 6 for 6. Put in the work for years for this ain't no coincidence. I did have to take them trips. Shit, they talking shit and it made me sick. I said got school and it made me rich. We did so crack on the 80s ting. The jinx on us and they pray we slip. Said got school and I broke the law. Told little bro got stay in school. Telling the kids this shit ain't cool. Fuck, I'm so hypocritical. Fuck.
She like the way that I dance. She like the way that I move. She like the way that I rock. She like the way that I woo. She let it clap for a nigga.
Alright.
Clap for a nigga. And she throw it back for a nigga. And she throw it back for a nigga. Michael Mary. Billie Jean. Christian Dior. I'm up in all the stores. When he rains the balls, she like the way I.
Fly uptown when I'm feeling down. I wanna do retail therapy. BP with a gang all week. I need some female energy. Suck my soul, I lost my breath. She got me breathing heavily.
Wow, man down. You ain't really bad, pat down. I don't give a fuck right now. Why everybody drunk like Simon Cowell? Pull up on my IG, undercover. But you don't like me, suck your mother. If a nigga try me, won't recover. If you don't like me,
English girl named Fiona. African girl Adiola. Body shaped like cola. Back up, here come closer. Vida loca. High as a cat, never sober. Python, hit him with a cobra. Free up my boat, Casanova.
She like the way that I dance. She like the way that I move. She like the way that I rock. She like the way that I woo. And she let it clap for a nigga. She let it clap for a nigga. And she throw it back for a nigga. And she throw it back for a nigga. Michael Mary. Billie Jean. Christian Dior. I'm up in all the stores.
Alright.
When he rains the balls, she like the way I.
Meanwhile.